Today is National Siblings Day, and I want to take a moment to talk about a form of abortion that impacts siblings, and that is called selective reduction. I want to read a definition to you of exactly what this is. Selective reduction is the practice of reducing the number of fetuses in a multiple pregnancy, such as quadruplets, to a twin or singleton pregnancy. This procedure is also called a multifetal pregnancy reduction. Now, this is a form of abortion that people are not widely aware of. We've heard about the abortion pill on a singleton, which means one baby pregnancy. We've heard about, surgical abortions, killing singletons or twins or however many babies, but we're not always familiar with this practice of selective reduction. A couple months ago on Instagram, a photo of selective reduction started going through the feed, and I had it pop up my feed. And what this selective reduction looks like is we first see a placenta, normal for placentas to pass. That's just the extra pregnancy organ that develops to nourish babies in the womb. And that's fine for placentas to be thrown away after pregnancy, that's fine. But then on the placenta, there is this tiny body of a baby. And they go on to explain that in this pregnancy, there were, I believe, 2 other healthy babies, and this was the 3rd baby. The parents did not want 3. So they destroyed the one baby, and the way selective reduction worked in that particular case is they cut the umbilical cord of that child and they left them in the uterus. So these 2 other babies are in the womb, and their multiple, their triplet is being killed by selective reduction. Now, none of us can, recall intentionally our memories from the womb. However, there is that we're impacted. We are impacted by what happens to us in the womb. There's studies about how children who are in the womb when their parent is experiencing a war, how that can increase their likelihood of anxiety or mental health disorders because it's troubling to the unborn baby. And certainly, being in the womb alongside your sibling who's being intentionally killed has to be incredibly traumatizing. In multiple pregnancies, when there are a bunch of babies, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many there are, every single individual child has a right to be protected from violence, because every child in a multiple pregnancy is a human being. They have a right to be protected from abortion. I say this as someone who's actually a big sister of triplets. So I was an only child for almost 4 years of my life before my triplet siblings were born. And one day when I was older and able to process this information, my mom told me that she went into the doctor and was, getting an ultrasound and looking at the babies and seeing how they were doing. And the doctor said to her, you really shouldn't have that many, insinuating to her that she should do selective reduction. She should kill one of her babies. And I'm so grateful that I have a pro-life mother who stood up to that doctor and said no, protected all 3 of her unborn children. And now today, my siblings are 20 years old, and I cannot imagine life without one of them. And when you think about selective reduction, I often will think of, well, which one? Which one would you take? Are you take my sister Cammy, or are you take my brothers? Like, who would you take? And no matter which one you take, you're destroying a precious human life, a valuable member of my family who has a right to live. Selective reduction is one of the most evil practices in our modern day. And in order to protect more siblings in our world on National Siblings Day, I urge you to share this video and tell your friends about selective reduction and why that is a human rights violation to kill a child in a multiple pregnancy.